All right. Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of the I Am Guyanese series. My name is Vanya, and I'm here with Miss I call her Miss Cloyette, but Cloyette Harris-Stoute. Uh, Hi, Miss Cloyette.
Hi, Vanya.
So I would describe Miss Cloyette as a Guyanese super a heroine, like a superpower.
Oh
She's
my goodness.
everywhere,
Oh my
like
goodness.
goals, like beautiful, all the things. But I'll start off by having you introduce yourself. So, who is Miss
Okay.
Cloyette?
All right. Thank you so much for having me. Yes, and
Absolutely.
congratulations on the launch of this platform or
Thank
this show.
you.
So thank you so much for having me. So who is Cloyette? So my name is Cloyette Harris-Stoute. I'm Guyanese, of course. Born on the west bank of Demerara. Yeah. I was born in Good Fortune. Both of my parents are from Good Fortune. That's over the river. I was born there. And then when I was, I don't know, baby, my father was in the military. He was in the Guyana Defense Force. So when I was maybe one or two, we moved to Georgetown to be closer to the base.
Mm,
Um, the GDF compound, we call it.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we moved there and then we lived there. We live in Kitty for a number of years, like on the railway line, it's no longer there. Yeah, I was home recently and they changed up a lot over that side, but we used to call it the railway line. And then maybe when I was like 8 or 9, we moved to it's Bachelor's Adventure on the East Coast. Um, it's right opposite Melanie Damishana. Most people are familiar with Melanie Damishana. Yes, so at that time they were building the housing scheme, and but my father he got a piece of land right outside of the housing scheme,
Oh.
so we built our house there. So that's where I grew up until I came to the States. Um, yeah, I went to high school in Guyana. I went to North Georgetown, and then
Oh.
yes, and then I went to St. Joseph for 1 year.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's basically my background as it relates to Guyana.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. And one thing I have to note, I have to
Mhm.
note it, that thanks to Miss Cloyette, Guyanese girls that are based in the New York, like New York City area, get to, even though they're born or raised in New York, they're able to experience what it is to be a Guyanese girls. Miss
Ex-
Cloyette is the founder of Guyanese Girls Rock. That's one of the
Yes,
many
yes. I
amazing
know
things.
I know we'll get into that. So I kind
Yeah.
of left that out because I know you
Yeah.
you you have some questions specific to that. Yes.
Of course, of course. So you talked about being born over the river, but then also
Mhm,
living in the East Coast. So I had to ask you, do
mhm.
you identify as a West Coast, East West Bank,
That's a good
over the
question,
river
but it's
person
it's an
versus
easy
East Coast?
question to answer. No, I'm
Mhm.
an East Coast girl all the way.
Really?
Because
Okay.
I spent most of my life there.
Okay.
I came to the States in my early 20s. So I spent
Mhm.
most of my life on the East Coast, even though I spent a lot of time on the
Over the
West
river.
Bank, like during
Yeah.
the holidays, like summertime, I would visit because my mom, her sisters, they all live on that side.
Auntie Winnie.
Yes. My mom was she had she came from a family of five girls
Mhm.
and one boy, but most of my aunts they lived on that side, and but we were the only ones who lived, on the East Coast. But
Yeah.
I visit there quite often. But yeah, I'm an East Coast girl.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yes. Mhm.
So, if you had to describe Guyana in one food, like one dish, what would you choose?
Of course, pepper pot. What are you talking about? Of course. I mean,
You
we're
said, of
known for that.
course.
We're known for that, of course. That's
Oh,
that's
why
that's our
why
thing.
pepper pot?
Oh, but besides it being one of our traditional dishes, I mean, that's exactly why. I mean, it's something that you have to have it. If you don't have it at any time of the year, you have to have it at Christmas. It's like a must have. I feel like we have that more than we have that garlic pork. I mean, that's part
Yeah,
of our tradition,
yeah.
but you gotta have pepper pot. I mean, there's no Christmas. You can't end the year without it,
Without
right?
pepper pot. I remember one year, we ran out of Casret when we were
Oh,
in Connecticut.
oh,
And
oh
I threw
man.
But because
That
I
was some
had asked
drama.
mommy, yeah, I asked mommy early, like October, I'm like, we have Kazakh. She's like, yeah, yeah, don't worry, we got Kazakh. And then we
Hmm.
got to like, the week before Christmas, and she opened the pot and realized she was taking a little bit out throughout the year to put in stew, and we didn't have
Yes.
enough.
That's the
And
main ingredient. You have to have it.
listen, well, without Kazakh, we can't have pepper pot.
No,
She
no,
had
what
to
are we
call
talking
one of my
about?
aunts and be like, "Hey,
Yeah,
can you just spare me a little bit?" But you're
yeah,
right. I mean, it's
yeah.
a Guyanese house. Regardless, if we had a house on the moon, you got
Right.
to have pepper pot at
You
Christmas.
have to have pepper pot, you know.
Yeah,
That's it. That's it. We're known
but
for that,
yeah.
our pepper pot, and people want to have it, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And even in addition to pepper pot, Guyana is known for so many of our foods. Like we are
Yes.
a huge part of our culture is the food, but
It's the food. Yes.
our food
Yes.
is amazing.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
growing,
were you right about that? We're known for our foods.
yeah.
We cook good food. I was like, if you don't know how to cook, don't try to cook for Guyanese because,
And cooking starts before the stove turns on. It's
right.
about seasoning
Yes.
and soaking the
Yeah.
chicken or your meat in general.
Exactly. We season up our stuff really good, and we always have, I always say, Guyanese, we like to share our food too. If
Yes.
you ever go to a Guyanese event, there's always so much food is that you have food that you can take home. There's
They're
always
literally begging you to take the food home
take
because they
home, we
always do
always
too
have
much.
so much.
Yeah.
Our food is great, but we like to share it as well.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. So growing up, in high school, even primary school, you know
Hmm.
how we would have like the vendors in front of our schools
Hmm. Hmm.
to buy
Yes.
snacks during lunchtime, break time. What
Yes.
was your
Yes.
favorite snacks to buy? Like name three.
Oh man. The green mango, the pickle mangoes, you gotta have that. It's either, yeah, the pickle mangoes. What else? Chicken foot with
Yes,
the sour.
yes. What type of sour?
Um, the mango, right? We had the chicken foot with a mango sour and tamarind ball.
Oh.
We have to have our tamarind ball. Oh
Our
my
palates are so similar. That was my,
God.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yes, that's it.
That,
I mean, there's so much more, but
yeah.
those are like the three things. Plantain chip, I like the plantain chip too with the sour,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
but
And
yeah.
it's even when we think about snacks, like growing up, like in America, when children think about snacks, they think about some type of potato chip or
Yes.
some. I think all of our snacks were made.
Yes,
Even the
absolutely.
start, like when
Absolutely.
you buy from a vendor, that vendor got up early that morning and fried
Yes.
and baked all the things and they're serving it.
Yes.
Even that
Yeah.
is love.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's how a lot of them made their living as well. So,
Yes. Yes.
they made their
Yes.
living that way, and we look forward to that.
Oh my
You get your
goodness.
little money from your parents, or you
I
save
just
up,
spending
and you
money, yeah.
can't wait until you get a break, right? A break. You
It's like,
get to
what am
run
I gonna have
outside
today?
and you go buy your stuff.
Right, because
That
we would
was fun.
usually pack our lunch, but you would have
Yes.
a little thing to like, buy a snack,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
so but
Memories. Good memories.
I know.
A
I
good day.
know.
I'm sure.
See,
I'm sure here don't know about that. They don't know about. I tell
and
my
that's
son
why
all
it's
the time.
important for us to even tell these stories, because
Yes.
thinking about
Absolutely.
school in the America, and I'm obviously I'm generalizing, but I haven't
Right.
seen vendors selling snacks in front of a school in the U.S. I might
Yes.
be
It's
wrong, but I
yeah.
have not seen it yet.
Right. Not like that. I mean, you have different, you have things that they have to be careful of, allergies
Right,
and all these things. So,
right.
you
So
don't
it's
find them
difficult.
selling things like that. Hmm.
But I do miss the little,
Yeah.
snack
Yes. The
set.
good thing is that when you go back home, you can still indulge. You
Oh,
can still
and I
indulge.
look
Right. You can
forward.
still
I look,
indulge. You bring stuff back. You can bring back a lot of that stuff, or you
yeah,
indulge while you're there. So that's a good thing.
yeah. So we are at least one will filming this. This is Easter Saturday.
Right. Hmm.
Obviously the big holiday in Guyana. But
Yes.
if you had to choose, what was your favorite holiday, Guyanese holiday growing up?
It's always Christmas. To
Hmm.
till today, it's always Christmas. I like to go home a lot at Christmas time, and
Really?
you know, it's that time of the year where we from a child. It started from weeks prior,
Hmm.
and in preparing. You're preparing the house. You getting into that. You get into the mood for for Christmas. I know
Yeah.
there's some background noise. Can you hear
Oh,
it?
no, 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 you're good.
Okay, okay.
You're good.
Yes.
And listen,
Yeah, there's some
we're
background noise.
home, so this is like a chill conversation.
It's
So
like a chill conversation.
yes,
Okay,
all
okay.
we're missing are the drinks.
Yeah, yeah. But we're recording, so we don't want to
Yeah,
have a lot of
yeah. No, you're
background
good.
interference. Yeah. So what I was saying, it's like we start I don't know, it's distracting to me. We start.
Yes.
Right. So, it start maybe like a month prior to Christmas, starting with your parents starting to buy stuff, the new curtains and all
Yeah.
these different, or sew it. Some of them sew it themselves. And then you start with the cleaning. You're cleaning up the house, or you paint, or you change the linoleum on the floor. That's what we
Yes.
call it back in the days. Buy new carpet, buy new flowers. So it's all this leading up to Christmas. It's so exciting.
Yeah.
It's always there, and then there comes the food, or the day prior, Christmas Eve. The house is fresh and smelling nice, and then you start cooking your pepper pot Christmas Eve, and or you go downtown, right,
So
to do
let me
last
ask
minute
you about the
shopping.
going downtown.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
mommy never, I've never experienced Guyana, Georgetown downtown Christmas Eve.
Wow.
And when I tell
Wow.
people, they're like, what? It
Yes.
was like the traffic, the people, it's just too much going on. A lot of times it
Hmm.
rains because it's a rainy season.
Yes.
What
There's
was
always a rainy
downtown
season.
for like on
Yeah,
Christmas?
that's part of the tradition. You go with your parent. That's that last minute shopping. By that time, you finish doing all your work, all clean. The house is already set up for Christmas. The pepper pot is bubbling, and
Like,
then you go downtown. There's music. There's masquerade. There's people everywhere. The streets. You go down. The streets are full of people because everybody goes out. So it's there's that excitement too.
yeah,
You go
yeah.
back home, you out late. I'm talking about after 11 o'clock, after 10, 11 o'clock at night. Right?
And you
Right.
leave the
So
pepper pot boiling at home?
you leave that
Simmering.
boiling because remember they boil that stuff. They don't press it
Yeah.
like we do here.
Uh, wow.
You know,
Wow.
they don't take shortcuts.
Okay.
They don't take shortcuts. Oh my
Today
gosh.
we've
Like
been
you,
cooking
you
for a
didn't hear me
long
say
time.
that, right? No, you didn't hear me say that we pressure on the meat. But they cook it for days and they leave it bubbling. So you go out for the last minute, pick up the last minute things, and then so it's all part of that excitement. The
Yeah.
cake is baking, the smell. So I always like
Did
Christmas.
your family in your household, y'all, did you, did
Mhm.
y'all break up house? Or was it
Oh,
clean
oh,
and
I
gradual?
forgot about that. I forgot about that. So yeah, that's it. When I tell you it started like weeks ahead, you you
Yeah.
you break up the house there. So you basically take the furniture, push it in a corner,
Yeah.
take
Sometimes you
off
got the
all.
cushions sunning
You remember, you
outside.
remember the you remember the knitted chair back covers,
Oh, of
and
course.
yes, you
Of
take off all
course.
those things. You put the
I have to
furniture. I
wash
don't see. That's
everything.
a memory that I blocked. And you put the furniture aside. No, it's not intentional, but I haven't thought about that in years.
Yeah, but
You
it's
know.
such a huge part of our culture, though. The brick
Yes.
house. I
Yes.
remember when we lived in up East Bank, so
Hmm. Hmm.
Republic Park, and we had a concrete fence in the front. My
Hmm.
parents used to make us scrub the fence every
The
year
fence too.
and repaint it every year, and
Oh,
all the
oh
plant
my goodness.
pots. We had,
Yeah.
and I
Yes.
hate to paint them,
Yes.
even in the kitchen.
Yes.
But
Yes.
the paint in the outside, you got to scrub the concrete.
Yes.
And it's not like here with sorrel, you could buy it already dried. You had to dry the
Right.
sorrel in the sun.
Yes. Yes.
So all
Right.
those things just bring
The
mommy
fresh
to both.
sorrel, and then you dry it yourself.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
All that's just
That
like
that
Christmas.
that is it. And your ginger beer and all
Yeah,
that. Yeah, the painting too. You paint the plant pots, or you
mhm.
have to, you remember using the tires, the old tires from the car. Some people
Oh
use those as well for the plant.
yeah.
When you paint it up. But let me tell you, come Christmas morning, you fresh. Everything is
Yes.
fresh. Everything is
Yes.
looking good.
Oh
And
my
you're just
God.
waiting for your neighbor to come outside, the kids to come outside. Are you calling out to this person?
Mhm.
It's such
And then all
it's
you hear is
great.
everybody screaming Merry Christmas and you hear the
Christmas.
parang, even though that's
And the
Trinidadian.
music starts so early in the morning. The
Oh, and
music,
nobody's upset.
nobody's upset,
No.
right? The music is loud. It's like sound clash. The neighbor playing their music. It's an exciting time. You can't wait to see your friends to show
Yeah.
them what you got for Christmas, right?
That's,
To show off
yeah,
your
no,
stuff. Yeah.
Christmas is definitely my favorite too. Definitely
Yes.
my favorite.
Always, and it still is. Even though it's not the same here in the States, it's my favorite holidays.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
It's
bring back a lot of
different.
memories.
Like a Guyanese Christmas is different. You know, we
Yes.
appreciate everybody love a lot of people love Christmas throughout around the world,
Mhm, mhm. Yeah,
but a Guyanese Christmas is you don't know it until you experience it.
right.
I hope it's still the same.
Yeah,
It's still the same.
yeah.
So you said so you now live in New York
Yes.
and you've been there for a while. Do you
30
remember
years.
like the
31
first,
years this year.
who's counting?
Yeah, right. It's been a
Um,
while. Yeah.
yeah, so like, do you remember your first interactions with Americans or people that are not Guyanese? So like thinking about those like initial conversations, your accent is thick. And when did you realize
Oh.
you did something or said something that was something only Guyanese did or say?
Oh, that's a good question. When I came, the first actually, okay, when I came here, I was a young mother. I had a child in Guyana. When I came here, I came with a 3-year-old, right? I kind of started young. So
Yeah.
and so I had to go to work like right away, so I started to when I came here, my mom was here and my three younger brothers were here. They came before me because I had that child. I had to wait a little bit longer.
Oh, okay.
And so I came 3 years after them. So they were already established. My mom had a house in Queens and my brothers lived there. But when I came, I had to start looking for work right away because I had a mouth to feed. So, at those times, they would give you the newspaper to,
Oh,
to look at
yeah.
the ads. You look at the ads in the newspaper, and I start looking for work, and I was looking and during the process, I saw this program. Um, it was a place called Cope Institute in the city. It's a
Oh,
secretarial program, and they taught you typing, back in the days, and computer studies. The computers were now you had those big back computers at that time, and but it was from 9 to 3.
hmm
So what I did, I started working 1 month after I came to this country,
wow.
exactly 1 month.
Wow.
Um, and I started that program my mom was able to help me get a job at a shipping company.
hmm
One of my first jobs when I came to this company, you probably don't know the company, but they're still in
What
existence.
is it called?
King Solomon Shipping. It's a
Oh, I
shipping.
know about that. I think
Yeah,
my grandmother used to use that to send us barrels.
right. Yes,
Is it
right.
near
So
Seville's?
it's in Brooklyn. There was
Oh,
one
never
in
mind.
Queens. Yeah, it's in
I think she went
Brooklyn.
to the one in
So what
Queens.
I did, I went to that school in the morning from 9 to 3.
hmm
And then I had to, I found a daycare not too far from where I live. And then I would go to the job from 3 to like 9 in the evening, from 4 to 9. So I went to school. I went to that program from 9 to 3 in Manhattan. Then I had to jump on the train and go to Brooklyn. Now I'm telling you, that's within a month of me being here. So
And
my
you had
mom
to
taught
learn
me
it
how to use
all.
the map and all that to get around. So the
Ooh.
first set of people that I interacted with were um were not necessarily well, okay, so they had a lot of Jewish students there, but mostly
Okay.
Americans that
Yeah.
was in this program, white,
Okay.
white Americans.
So it's like
Um,
culture shock all
yeah,
around.
right. It was a
It's
culture
all around.
shock.
Yeah.
So, the reason why I'm giving you this background because at the same time I was in these two different worlds. Because the school during the day and then the evening, the people who come to the shipping place is mostly Guyanese people.
Chinese. Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
nothing, different about that in terms of my accent. That's
Right. Right.
right. That was a normal situation. But the program that I was in with
hmm
these girls or these women, that was a learning experience to me too.
Yeah.
Um, I don't remember if anyone particularly, if they did, they didn't really say
It,
it.
oh,
In
yeah.
terms of my
Yeah.
accent, they probably just listen. It's like, okay, she's a foreigner, of course, they
Right.
know.
Right.
But yeah, so that was my first interaction. So for me, it was more about me learning how to not to n- uh,
Not
how should
necessarily to fit in, but to be able
not
to
trying to fit in,
like
but me learning
communicate
how to
and
present myself,
right.
in this new country, in this new space, and show up as a professional because that's what they were teaching us how to do. We had to dress in business attire. for
Okay.
this. It was a class where they taught you, but you had to dress in business attire. So it's like they prepare you for work. And once you complete it in 7 months, they help you to find a job. So it was me learning how to articulate myself,
Right.
in a
Yeah.
professional way.
And it's so interesting because you came as you said in your in your 20s,
Right. Uh-huh.
and you also
My
came as a
early 20s.
early 20s, so early 20s, and you came as a young mom. A lot of times we talk about and this is obviously me generalizing, but when we hear about immigrant stories, we
Mhm.
tend to hear it from coming as a child,
Yes.
younger, and then we hear a
Mhm.
lot about the stories are like coming like when you're older and like sending for the rest of your family. But like
Mhm.
that period where you're like in your early 20s, regardless of where you are, if you're at home in
Mhm.
Guyana or wherever home
Mhm.
is, or the States,
Yeah.
that's a huge transition time.
Right,
And
right.
then to do it while it's like kind of being reborn at like in your early 20s. It's like the first time
Yeah.
you're getting a social security card, you're getting,
Right.
and I try to
You have to
explain that to
right, going
people. It's
through
not
that
just like, oh, you're an
process.
immigrant, welcome. It's
It
like,
was right.
it's hard.
It was different for me, I'm not I wasn't coming my brothers, they came, they were still in high school.
Hmm.
Um, for me now, I'm coming not only as an immigrant, but, I have to figure out not on my mom was very supportive, I
Yeah.
lived with her for a little while, and, but trying to navigate not just for myself,
Hmm.
but for my son as well,
Yeah.
just navigating all these different systems and, learning the ropes, going to school and working at the same time. And thanks
Right.
for that support that I got from my mom and my brothers. They helped out.
Yeah. And so,
Um,
and like,
mhm,
shout out to all the family members that
yes, they helped out.
that were supportive. You know, even
Mhm,
as they're figuring it out, because like you've
right.
been here 31 years, and it's probably things you're learning still
Mhm,
about the
mhm,
U.S. You know,
yeah,
I've been here this year is going to be 12 years,
right, right,
and it's
yeah.
still I still feel like I'm new. You know,
You
um,
discover something new,
all the
all
time,
the
all the
time, all the
time.
time.
But after all this time, we're still Guyanese.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. 100%.
Yes, yes. I like to say, no, say Trinity,
100%.
born of Guyanese to the marrow.
Yeah,
That will never
yeah.
change. So so you have your 9 to 5, I would say generally 9 to 5 job. But we mentioned before you started the Guyanese Girls Rock Foundation, the organization.
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
Okay, so Guyanese Girls Rock, I like to refer to it as the Guyanese Girls Rock movement. There's two
Yes.
platform. There's two platforms. There's Guyanese Girls Rock. It's a blog platform. Let's say it's a
Mhm,
blog that I started in 2012.
mhm.
Um, the goal was to celebrate Guyanese women. I've been here, I said, for this year will be 31 years, but I left New York for 3 years. I moved to Florida
Oh,
and in 2005, right? So I was there from 2005 or like 2009. The recession hit, and my family, we all moved there, and we end up coming back, moving back. Prior to me leaving to go to Florida, I wasn't, even though New York is a huge Guyanese community. I wasn't very involved in that community, and
okay.
the reason why is not because I was focused on family.
Yeah.
Kids had gotten married, and I had another kid, another son. So I have two
Mhm.
boys, and I went to school, got my bachelor's, and then went back got my master's. So I was doing all this prior to moving away to Florida.
Okay.
And so I wasn't involved in the community itself. So when I came back now, I'm okay. What am I've always liked to do something else. It's like I'm always, you know how I am, always busy doing
Yes,
something.
I don't know how you do. I do
Right.
not know how you do.
Yeah. So when I moved to Florida, I came back. It's like, okay, what? I was looking for something. There's something missing. I wanted to do something. Um, that I can start on my own or do something on my own.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
by at that time, Facebook was,
The
it's
end thing.
right. Everybody was on Facebook. I had a Facebook account, and I would look at posts and stuff. There are other pages, Guyana pages or stuff, but
Mhm.
nothing specific to women. And I just got the idea, well, why don't I do something for Guyanese women,
Mhm.
celebrating Guyanese women. So I started it by just doing some posts to Facebook, like
Yeah.
searching up like famous Guyanese women, like Google, right? And then you get
Yeah.
these little snippets and the pictures. And, my background is in technology, that's why I went to school for. So I did
Yeah.
all that, finding, Googling, searching for people and getting their photos and just writing like a short paragraph and post their photos. I created this page called Guyanese Girls Rock. I got the inspiration from Black Girls Rock because you remember Black Girls
Oh
Rock.
yeah.
They had
Yes.
something,
Yes. Yes.
and it's like,
Yes.
Guyanese Girls Rock. So I started this page and I started posting. And it started picking up. Like people's like, oh, I didn't know this person was Guyanese. Oh, so it became a thing.
Mhm.
Right? I didn't expect it to like,
To
you
take
know,
off. Yeah.
take off like that.
Yeah.
And then I said, okay, then people are blogging. Everybody's blogging. So
Mhm.
I built my own website. The first website I built
My
myself. I
goodness.
created my own website and I had this platform, Guyanese Girls Rock. This time now I started doing more longer features like
Right.
I even did some interviewed some people, like interview them or um, have them send me their information. So I did that for a little while. It's hard to do that now because I hardly have the time to interview people.
Yeah.
But yeah. So and it took off. It really took off. It got a nice following. I think I had like over 20,000 followers of that platform. And I said had because that page got hacked and I
Oh,
had to be start over again. So that was Guyanese Girls Rock the blog. It's still there. I,
yes.
I
There's
share
so much good
stories.
resources on there.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot. But then in 2016, I think, it's like, okay, I have this blog. What else can I do? Um, and when I was growing up in Guyana, I had, I was the only girl. I have only brothers, right? So I grew up in a household of boys.
Mhm.
And while I spent a lot of alone time because my brothers they
They just play, they do
I
boring
spent time
stuff.
with them. I spent
Yeah.
time with me. My cousins they live over the river.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I didn't have a lot of friends. I grew up in this, of course, typical strict Guyanese household.
Yes. The Dodgers can't go
And
anywhere.
being the
That's
girl,
what
my
I'm
mom would like, she kept the kind of grip on me. But yeah, I was, teased a lot.
saying.
And when I was in high school, people teased me about my forehead. You can see it; it's
And
prominent
now it's the
behind
in
it.
thing, right?
Right, right. My overbite, they told me about my mouth and
Mm,
all that. So at that time, I was really, really skinny.
hmm.
I didn't like that about myself too. So I internalized that. So, when the thought came about what I should do, I decided, okay, I want to start something for teen girls to help them
Yeah.
because I felt at that time I didn't defend myself. Like I didn't know how to defend
Mhm.
myself. People would say things and I didn't know how to defend myself. So I
Yeah.
wanted to create that space for teen girls to, teach them how to be confident, some of the things that I felt that I lacked. So I started a nonprofit, Guyanese Girls Rock Foundation.
Mhm.
I did that in 2016,
Okay.
but I didn't create a program until 2018, like officially launched it. I did some things,
Oh,
like
okay.
I don't know if you remember Kelly House. You remember the Guyanese student that she was accepted to all the Ivy League
Oh,
colleges?
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So she got one of the first scholarship.
Oh,
I
wow.
gave her a scholarship to a new laptop computer, and
Mhm.
that was pretty cool because the first lady of Guyana at the time was here,
Oh,
and Granger, Mrs. Granger, and she was in an
yes.
event, and
Oh my
yeah, I was there,
goodness.
and I was able to allow me to do the
She's
presentation
like
because I didn't have
royalty, just like there's
right, I didn't have
everything
my own
there.
space, or I started a nonprofit, but I didn't really officially launched it
Hmm.
until 2018 when I developed the program,
Okay.
the Young Women's Leadership Academy. So we officially launched it in 2018 with a program that teach leadership development for teen
Yeah.
girls here in New York metro area. Um, Queens, I'm based in Queens, but
Mhm.
Brooklyn, wherever in the New York metro area, we launched that program. Um, and this
And
is
so
our
many
seventh
girls,
year.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so many girls are blessed and like and now like you kind of see the girls like posting out there in college and doing so many different
Yes,
things. It
yes, we've impacted so many lives.
yes.
Um, impacted so many lives because with the girls coming in high school, they can come in from 9th to 12th grade, but once they get to the 12th grade, they go off to college, and they're going off to college. They're eligible for scholarships. We give them scholarships. It could be $1,000 scholarship. If they're going into tech, they can get a new
Yeah.
laptop computer. But once they're graduating high school, they graduate out of our program as well.
Hmm.
So we've impacted, we've given over, I think over like now over $25,000 in
My
scholarship.
goodness. And it's only gonna be go up from here, honestly.
Yes, we're in our seventh year. We're in our seventh year. So I'm
Wow.
excited, of the things
Yeah.
we're currently, and we run in the spring from January to June, just in case
June.
anybody's interested.
Yes.
So
And
we're
then it's like the
currently
huge
checking, yeah.
graduation and then
Yeah,
the
then we have a huge
that
graduation for them, and
yes.
scholarship graduation luncheon. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. So we're doing
And
some
it's
good
so
work here.
and like so many people talk about, oh, people don't know, like children a lot of times we hear people complain about, oh, they're born in the US or they move so early. They don't know about being Guyanese or they don't know much. But instead
Yeah.
of just being a complainer, you
Mhm.
actually did something about it.
Yeah, yeah,
You
and
know, and
it's
it's so
interesting.
huge.
In the 7 years that we've been doing this program, we've only had two students that were born in Guyana.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, we've only had two, and the first one was last year, Macy. She's off to college, and then we have a young woman this year.
Okay.
That she recently came in, like within the last year or so. She was born there, but all of the other students, they were born here.
Hmm.
So they have to be either a parent or a grandparent, a close relative as a so it's for girls that are of Guyanese heritage. So obviously
Right.
they don't have to be born in Guyana. And so most of the young women they were born right here.
Yeah.
And so it's good because we include a cultural aspect to it. Not only teach them, we teach a leadership development course, right? Um but the second half is 2 hours on every other Saturday, twice a month. So the first hour we teach this course, and then the second hour we bring in women, mostly Guyanese. Sometimes not always, but mostly Guyanese
Yeah.
women in position of leadership or whatever to come in or business women entrepreneur to do life skill workshops and teach them a whole lot of you know, life skill stuff, all
Right.
different things,
Right.
confidence building, we had they learn about real estate, all these different things they learn
How
about.
to start their own business,
Right, how to start your own
mental
business, different
health,
things
like
like
all
that.
the things.
Right, so yeah, so we but we still include a little cultural part of it. We talk about Guyana, we have them share stories, we talk about the Guyanese household. Yeah, so
The good
it's
and the
it's
bad.
I'm
Honestly,
sorry?
anytime, and I said the Guyanese household, the good and the bad, and how we
Right, yeah,
can
because
even
we have
get
those
better with
discussions.
time. Yeah.
Our program director, Dr. Gregory, who you've met, she's first generation Guyanese. Her parents are Guyanese, but she's a college professor, and so she's pretty good in terms of the doing. She teaches leadership course, but she's pretty good in incorporating these different Guyanese stories and experiences, and have them talk about it, have these discussions, because she grew
Yeah.
up in a Guyanese household, comparing, and then we all talk about how, my experience versus hers versus what so it's a space where they can open up and be honest and talk about, you know,
It's
how
good to
things
know
are.
that when I have my daughters in the future, God willing, at least there's a
Mhm.
space like that that exists. That even if
Yes,
they're born in the U.S. or and grow up in the U.S., there's a
right.
space where it's like, okay, I'm American, but I also identify as Guyanese because of my
Uh-huh.
heritage.
Yeah.
I can
Yes.
learn there are other girls out there like me, and
Hmm.
other, like young people that live in this. My household doesn't look like my American friends' house.
Right.
It might even
Right.
smell different. It's a lot
Right,
of
right.
spices in
And the girls too, they have these even though they're born here,
there.
they still experience things in school or in classroom that makes them feel isolated, as they're not immigrant, but they come from immigrant families, so they
Hmm.
have those immigrant experiences too.
Right. right.
right? They have those immigrant experience where they want to know, how do I navigate this situation? I find myself in this situation. How do I navigate that? Yeah.
Yeah. So I am excited to continue to work with Guyanese girls. Unfortunately, in
Yes.
New
Thank
York,
you
it's
so much.
hard, but I try. I do try to
Yes.
continue to be involved because
Yes.
I
And
believe
we
I stand
appreciate you for
for
that. We appreciate you for
everything the
that.
organization is about.
Hmm.
Because Claire, we can talk forever.
I
I feel like we
know,
need a
right?
room
I
two,
know, right?
3, and 4.
Yes,
But
yes.
I'll wrap it up by asking you, what does being Guyanese mean to you?
Ooh, 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 ooh.
And take your
I'm
time.
so I'm so Guyanese. I don't even think about it. It's like,
Right.
right? Like,
It's like
no,
asking me, how do I breathe?
right. Yeah. I've never thought about it. Like, um, I'm proud,
Yeah, yeah,
you know. Listen, I've always been, I mean, you're Guyanese, but they have some
yeah.
people who embrace it more than others, if you know what I mean. I
Right.
know people personally that don't embrace it, have told me that they're not going back there.
Hmm.
Um, you
Not
know,
even to
so
visit?
no. And this was prior to the oil situation, so they might have to sing a different tune now because a lot of people are singing a different tune.
But you know what's interesting? That has the only thing that's affected me is like I feel more protective of Guyana. It's like don't
Right.
go to my country just for the benefits.
Right,
You
and
know?
I've been there. I've heard people say that and having to defend that, and like, okay, well, why? Oh, the things of there's crime everywhere. I find myself defending it for years.
Yeah, yeah.
So some of those people might have a different tune, but for me, it's. I'm proud. There's a fascination about us too. Um, I mean, for years there was. Well, we all know that there's a confusion sometimes with Guyana, and Ghana. By now people should know the difference, but there's
We're
always
still
been,
working on it.
or right, we're still working on it. Or it used to be the case where people only know it for the Jim Jones
Jim
story
Jones,
and all
yeah.
that, all those negative things. But
Yeah.
I always find that people are fascinated. They always want to know more because for the simple fact that sometimes they don't know where it is. They don't know, or when they find out where it is, it's in South America. Well, what other language do you speak? You
Right,
don't speak
right,
English. There's that surprise factor, and
right.
then there's the people. I had somebody told me one time they thought Guyana only had Indian people. So
I did I was
right,
told that too. I remember one time
right,
with this girl from
so,
the Bronx and she was like, "No, you can't be Guyanese."
right,
And I was like,
right. So it's that pride and educating people when they
"Mm,
ask these questions and they're surprised and shocked. Just educating them. Like,
right,
look.
right. There's a lot more to us.
Yes. Yeah,
And
there's a lot more to us,
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, Miss Clark,
So,
I appreciate it so, so much. This was fun. I knew it was gonna be
yeah,
fun. I knew
right.
there's no way I was doing this series without including you. Absolutely not.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
And
I
thank you for
appreciate you for
continuing
thinking
to
of
be,
me.
yeah, such a huge inspiration. If you don't follow her, you need to follow her because just like watching, it's like, people follow influencers, but I just need to watch Miss Cloyette's stories and I will be influenced for the
Uh,
rest of the year.
oh, I don't know about being an influencer, but I guess
You
it's
are. You are. You definitely
okay,
influence a
okay.
lot of people.
Positive, I hope.
Yes. It keeps me like, okay, I could do better. I could keep doing better.
Yes.
So thank you
Okay.
so much.
You're welcome, my dear. And you're doing awesome yourself. Proud of you. I'm proud of you.
Thank
I know you're
you.
so humble. I have to say sometimes. It's like, oh,
I'm always just
yeah.
like, what's next? What is
This
next?
district attorney, people don't know that. You don't say it, but that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Being a district attorney, and I'm sure you show up in a space where there's not a lot of people look like you. So you're an
Yep,
inspiration too.
yep, that is true.
Yeah,
That is
you're
true.
an inspiration too.
All right.
Okay, Vanya, thank you so much.
Thank you. And
Okay.